Okay, hi again, it's me, Helen. I'm going to show you two little things. One is something, they're both new to me, both things are new to me. The first is making a raised bed, which consists very much of dried grass, or I've got thatch, but any felt grass will do it. Using a lot of grass in the actual soil, the planting area, helps a lot with retaining moisture, and I have found this to be working fantastically, so I'd like to show you how to do that. And I'm going to demonstrate on this bed where I have sunflowers and millies, and there's also one pumpkin there. And what I want to try out is something called the Three Sisters, and this is something that comes from apparently from traditional Americans, where they would plant corn and beans and squash in the same area, because those three were seen to be very complementary. So the idea is that the corn grows tall, provides the support for the beans nitrify the soil, and the pumpkins benefit from having all of this going on. So the pumpkins are usually more towards the periphery of the whole picture. So I've got one pumpkin there, and what I've got here is mealies, organic mealies from Tanda, which have been in the ground a couple of weeks, and some sunflowers, which also from seed. So these are the sunflowers and those are the mealies. And I now have a new batch of bean seedlings that I've just propagated. So I'm going to put a few of the beans in between and see how that goes, and then I do have two more pumpkins that I can add. So the way that I'm going to build the bed, which I did here initially, and I have found it fantastic in terms of water saving. I only need to water it, I try water it every morning, but if I miss a day, it's absolutely fine. And even now it hasn't been watered for a couple of days, and the soil, if you put your finger in, it's actually quite cool and damp in there. So it retains the moisture extremely well. So how it works is you basically build the bed above the ground. Try not to dig, try not to disturb the soil. If there's lawn, well, I remove lawn, but a lot of people who do no dig raised beds they build their beds directly over whatever is there, the lawn or weeds or whatever, and eventually those things stop coming back. I'm in luck because there wasn't any lawn really growing here anyway, so I don't have to worry about that. So it's a matter of taking the dried grass matter, mine's thatching grass which is left over from the roof, and basically you build a box with the dried material. So the frames, like the sides of a box, the way you would if you were building out of timber or whatever. So that forms the outside. This is a bit narrow, let's put it there rather. So there's my planting channel. So what we'll do is chuck compost directly into the planting space. Okay, that needs to be mixed with topsoil. We have this absolutely beautiful, very dark topsoil here in between, which also in Louisiana. We're very, very fortunate to have. In fact, in Melville we also have this very dark soil. Okay, we don't want the compost too strong, we don't want to be burning the little plants. So just mix it up a bit. Okay, and then basically bury the grass with more topsoil so that it's not exposed. Well, it becomes part of the structure. You don't want it blowing away. So this grass effectively becomes like an underground sponge. It attracts and retains a whole lot more water than the soil on its own would be able to hold. So we can put in our little beans. I need a stick. So you push them out from underneath. Never pull a seedling by its leaves, its little arms. Try to push it out without damaging the roots. Well, that's not close enough to climb up, but I'll put a few closer to the sunflowers just now. They've got very little soil in this planting tray. That is the one problem, is there's very little soil around. So transplanting needs to be pretty quick. I think those plants are a bit close together. I can space them out when they're a bit bigger. Thin them out, should I say. Okay, here's number 4. It's not going too well. Let's leave that one for now. Try this one rather. There we go. Shame they're a bit dry. Okay, so that's the idea. I'll put a couple closer to the other plants to see whether they will be able to grow up the mealy stems. If it doesn't work, we always put in a trellis to support them. But I think they do grow quite big, so we can't have too many. Oh, it doesn't want to go. Sorry, they're not coming up. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And then, so once the little plants are in, so later, when there's time, I'll plant a few more beans. I'll put them next to the mealies. Put in 4 or 5, but probably on the outside to give them more room in here. And for the meantime, these little ones need some mulch. So, more dry grass over the top to cover the soil. This also helps a lot to slow down evaporation from the soil. A lot of people don't use mulch. I see a lot of people who leave the soil open. But I like mulch. I think it really, especially when it's hot, the water evaporates so quickly, and we all struggle with water. So anything that will save our water is a good thing. Okay, so that's it. So I'll come back and give them lots of water in a minute. Everything needs a good water, and that'll hold it really, really well. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you, Di.